Hello again, yogis, and thanks for joining me. My name's Travis, and this is my yoga studio called Sthira Yoga, and we're on tour, so to speak, in Bali, in Indonesia. So, welcome from Bali and namaste. We're going to begin our beginners class with extended child's pose, and I've just grabbed a pillow in case you'd like a modification when you get into it. So your big toes come to touch, your knees open out wide, and if there's a lot of elevation between your buttock and your heels and it feels uncomfortable, you could always place your pillow between your heels and your butt, and then maybe as you start to bow down, it just gives you a little bit more support and nourishment for the hips. Okay, so maybe you need that, maybe you don't. It's okay whichever way around you are. Just going to get it out of the way for now and come to extended child's pose. So as you start to roll down, focus inwards, draw your awareness from the fabric of your skin all the way through to the texture and nuances inside the universe that resides within you. And that's really facilitated by closing your eyes. So if that's okay with you, do that now. Child's pose represents this opportunity to come back to the child, to the inner curiosity, to the version of you that is not set with notions, conditioning, expectations, and just that sort of freedom to explore and nourish your wonderful, incredible body. And I encourage you to find long and steady breaths that draw nourishment in from the outside world through the nostrils, filling all the way up, and then with the exhale breath, let the breath exit through the mouth and allow that to be a letting go breath, releasing the sticky, I should say, icky gooiness that we can hold on to. Yeah, so do that for a few cycles of breath. Inhale positivity. And exhale the abundance for change, the wisdom to do it, and the ability to allow it. And stay for a couple more cycles of breath. And then shift onto your tabletop in an all fours position. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, tops of the feet pressing down. Tilt the tailbone up, look up, and arch the spine like a cow and take an inhale breath. And then dome the back, chin to chest, press into the earth and cat the spine. Look at your knees. Inhale, look up, open the throat, widen the collarbones, tilt the tailbone up. And now exhale, dome into the back, press away from the earth and feel all the finger pads and the knuckles pressing down. Okay, so move through this with intuition and your own freedom. And now I would encourage you to start to move with that freedom of expression in ways that feel super rewarding, super abundant. Maybe some areas that are a little sticky you sort of linger in. Maybe you get funky and change the orientation of your hands. Start to bend into the wrists and the elbows. And then once you're ready, let's meet back in our tabletop position, all fours. And from here, start to lift your thumbs and lift your palms and shift forward onto 4 fingers of each hands. Hinged at your first row of knuckles, just lift and lower the palms. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Palms down, thumbs down. Sway from left to right across your upper back. And then take a moment to pause, and we're going to thread the needle. So with that, we take the right hand to sky, big breath, look up, reach up, rise up, and then sweep it in and under your left side of the body, lowering down onto right ear, right shoulder, looking to the left. Now, placement may mean that your face is right there and your left hand is in front of it. You might like to come up onto your the finger pads. You might like to walk your left hand forward to the top of your mat, or maybe just leaving it where it is appropriate for you in your practice, and staying there for another breath. And the encouragement is to find an inhale, to lift the right hand up, lift it up, look at it if you can as it rises all the way up, and then sweep it slowly down and lower it down. Inhale, lift up, reach up, rise up with the left hand, and then dive it in and under to the right. So left ear, left shoulder on the mat now. Now there's a level of discomfort here, and it's an unusual place to be placing weight in our bodies, so it's not the longest hold. So we'll just stay for another moment. And then with a big breath, inhale, left hand up. And then lower it down, exhale, breath. Now, different to child's pose, we call this one puppies. So it's kind of that gesture puppies and kittens make when they're a little tired and stretching and waking up. So take your hands further down your mat away from you. But see how my hips are over my knees. As you lower down onto your forearms, lower the forehead down and just let yourself hammock into the area of your armpit and the musculature that runs around there and along the sides of your waist. I've got my toes untucked so I can feel the toenails pressing down into the earth, but you might even like to try to tuck them, and you can press the toes down then, and it could even create a little bit of, sensation where the heart lowers a little closer towards the earth. So this pose also has a name called melting heart, and it's kind of gestural like that, sense of the chest cavity lowering towards the earth. Good job. Now lift your upper body a little bit so you can look forward, and let's slither forward, and we'll go to our cobra, and let's make it our striking cobra. So that's where you take your hands out wide onto your floor and you point your elbows up to the sky. Now, before we start to lift the chest, let's press the toenails down, activate our legs so we're nice and stable in the lower limbs, and then press through our finger pads and lift up. And then we'll lower back down, and we're going to do a few of these. It feels so good on your spine. So go up through your right side, inhale, and down through the left side, exhale, and reverse that, go up through the left, inhale, and then down through the right, exhale, breath. Nice work. Hands under your shoulders, press back to your tabletop position. Finding your tabletop position, we're going to look for a modified side plank with lots of stability here. I'm going to face away from you so you can see the placement of my foot. We're going to begin with our left leg. Swing the left leg out so that the toes step onto the floor beside you on the left-hand side. That's the stable point, okay? And then we stay on our left hand and then step the right foot to the very back of our mat, or in my case, I've stepped right off the back of my mat. But see how my left knee, the left toes are on the earth, I've got my left hand. And do you know what? You can also lower down onto your left forearm, which is even more supportive, lifting your right hand up to the sky. I don't quite need that, so I'm going to stay on my left hand, and I'm going to lift my right hand to sky, and I'm going to look up. And I feel super stable, my knees down. And if you would like to add a little bit of an extra challenge, you could see, what does it feel like to hover my right leg? That's the leg all the way down the bottom of the mat. And then think about driving the heel away and curling the toes back towards your face. That will target the musculature that's going to help stabilize it and help it lift. We're going to hold for 3, for 2. And if you didn't get it this time, why don't you do the class again, and over a couple of cycles, maybe that awareness begins to settle into your body. Once we come back to the earth, we're on our all fours, and I just like to always reset and recharge, retool with a little bit of cow-cat. I mean, I just love the movement along the spine. Feels super nourishing. I'm going to go a little bit further along my mat so I don't step off the mat again. And we'll start again with our right. So right foot swings out, steps to the right onto the toes. Left foot steps down to the back of the mat, bottom of the mat, and then the left hand lifts. Remember, we've got those elbow options down there. That's okay. And or coming up onto the right hand, targeting that musculature in the left buttock and the fibers of the tissues that run down there to help activate. And if that feels nice and you want to challenge yourself to lift the leg, go for it. Going to be so sad to leave this place. It's my last full day And I'm just, Bali's got me big time. If you haven't been, I highly recommend it. And we're going to come back to tabletop, and we'll take an all fours position, and we'll shift through that. Cow and cat. And then let's set up our down dog. So we've already got some integrity created. We did our little wrist lifts there through the knuckles, which helps remind us where we want to place weight in our hands. Place them a whole handprint down the mat. Step the toes back, tuck them, and then lift the hips. Now, swing the head back and look at your feet, and just take a moment to feel super aware of being able to move your feet and legs in a way that feels comfortable for you. So downward facing dog gets called a rest pose quite regularly, and I tend to disagree. It's effort. Your head is below your heart, so there is an effort there. And also, you can't see yourself, so it's quite difficult to be like, well, how do I know if I'm doing this correctly? I would rather you focus more on your fingers, spread them wide, ground more of the weight evenly across say, four corners of the hand and the palm. And I would prefer to think you've got high heels on, so super high heels, and bent knees, and that's going to help find more length up your side waists. Don't worry about that classical V shape you see on the internet. It's okay if your down dog looks a little different. And then take your time to slowly walk forward to the top of your mat. And I love a halfway lift here, so give yourself an inhale breath, and that's buoyancy that help lift the chest. And when you fold, so just let that release, and you can bend the knees generously, you can catch your elbows in a ragdoll, so more of your tummy comes on your thighs. I like to nod the head and even sway a little bit left and right. Just give yourself a bit of rhythm and movement that serves you in your body. And then dangle the hands towards the earth, chin to chest, roll up on an inhale breath all the way to standing. Take your time, no need to rush. And you know you're standing, you roll your shoulders towards your ears, you lengthen the arms beside the body. Lift your toes so you feel the four corners of your feet this time pressing down. And then you can splay the toes back down gently on the earth. Avoid gripping, basically. Neutral your pelvis. Tone the abdominal muscles, knit the ribs in, draw your chin slightly towards your chest, but elongate the arms and create effort through the fingertips. So we call it mountain because we want to symbolize that firmness, the steadiness, the strength, the Sthira of a mountain, okay? That's the name of my yoga studio, Sthira Yoga. It means stable, strong and steady. Mountain helps us navigate the world as well by standing tall and proud in the person that we are, knowing warts and all, we are awesome, amazing, and incredible. Big toes to touch, hands at heart, chin to chest. Take a moment now to seal your lips for the next few moments in our practice and breathe through your nose and set an intention if you're working with one. And then take your inhale up to the sky, look up, reach up, rise up together, palms touch. And let's be the change we want to see in the world as we fold to the earth. Exhale, breath. Halfway lift full of positivity, inhale, and step back to high plank, exhale, breath, where I encourage you to hold the long plank or lower the knees. So options there, long plank, heels press away from you. Shift the weight forward or knees lowered, tone the abdominals in and find more effort up and around in your shoulders. So you're really working hard there. We're going to hold for another 2. And 1. Now everyone lowers to their knees, bends the elbows, and see if they can skim the elbows across their rib cage and control the descent to lower tummies to mat. Inhale the cobra. Would you like striking cobra? You can take your hands out wide, navigate that yourself, and then press back through to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, an inhale will lift your right leg to sky. And as you bring your heel to your butt and you step your right foot forward, you get your right hand and help bring the foot forward. You slowly lower your left knee down with the toes tucked and you take your hands up. Now we're just going to hold here. In fact, I said specifically tuck your toes. I'm going to get you to untuck them now. So the back foot, that is. And your right hand, so right hand is going to swing up and catch your left wrist. It's going to lift the left arm up and you're going to slowly bend to the right. Okay, so we're bending away from the knee that's grounded on the mat. So what happens here is we're stretching the musculature that gets sticky and icky and gooey because we sit so much. it gets shortened, and it's that sensation sometimes when you go to step up and stand up, you're like, ooh, geez, that's a little sticky today, right? But, you know, gosh, we all sit so much. It's what we're here for, we want to get back that movement. And then we're going to take our hands up to the sky and look up. And then as we slowly lower them down in front of us, we're going to place them beside the front foot, I beg your pardon. So beside your front foot. And then keep your left hand on the earth. Take your right hand onto your right thigh. Look to your right. And this doesn't need to look like a huge twist and reaching back and all of the stuff you see on the internet. You can simply be looking to the right. I like to think of a little more weight in the pelvis. So this left thigh across the front of the leg that's on the mat behind you gets a lovely big stretch, which is all about that chain of muscles I was talking about because we sit so much. And then we're going to maneuver forward. So what I'd like you to do is place your hands to frame your front foot, tuck your back toes as a launch pad to help step you forward. And I don't mind how high you step that leg. Halfway lift is your inhale, and then fold on your exhale. Up to the sky, inhale, look up, reach up, rise up, palms touch. Now come through heart center, root your right foot down and bring your left knee in. And if you can, give it a lovely big squeeze. I'm going to rotate around so you can see me from behind. Left knee's drawn in. Left hand helps open the knee out wide. Option 1, kickstand the foot on the earth with the heel just above your ankle. Bring your hands to your hips, root down, rise up, hands at heart. Option 2 could be on the calf. Some people don't mind placing it on their knee. That could be an option. It's just we'd prefer to avoid that area. Or if you've got the flexibility to raise the foot above the knee and place it on the calf, do that. But you know what? I've done so much yoga this week, yoga practice. I'm going to have my foot on the earth. And that's okay. I'm going to stay here for 5 lovely cycles of breath. And the yogic philosophy suggests a spot to stare at on the horizon is called the drishti. Your drishti focus helps with the balance. And then as you release that, I'm going to step back to the top of the mat, bend into the knees, sweep the hands up to the sky. Inhale, breath takes you up, lift up, rise up, return to earth, exhale, breath. Halfway lift, inhale, and step back to down dog, exhale, breath. And pedal the feet, nod the head. Inhale, lift your left leg to sky. And then step the left foot forward, and it's okay. Grab left hand, help bring it forward. Lower back knee down. Untuck back toes. Got it right this time. Well done, Travis. Lift your hands up. Look up. And now we want our left hand to sweep up and catch our right wrist, and it helps lift the whole chain of muscles up to the sky, and then we bend to the left. Now, something else we like to talk about in yoga is this proprioception and exploring how you are in space, like where you are and what you are. So think about whether you've got the texture of the mat. Can you sense that underneath the front foot? Could there be more weight in the front heel? Now, behind you should be toenails down. Can you spread all the toenails gently down on the mat? Can you feel that? What does that do? And then when you're ready, take the hands up, look up, and then they lower down inside the front foot. Oh, you got it right again this time. Good work. Left hand on the left thigh, and we rotate to the left. I know there's lots of really super edited, glossy versions of what I'm attempting here to do, but you know, there's an authenticity about knowing that the person on the other side of the camera is a human and makes mistakes and muddles things up, because that syndrome of like perfectionism is very difficult to continue all the time. And you know, it's just one of those things I observe. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. Let's just leave it at that. We're going to look forward, hands on the framing the front foot, tucking your back toes and stepping back foot forward. Big halfway lift, inhale, a lovely big fold. Bend the knees, take the hands out wide up to sky, palms touch. Now, hands through heart center. It's the left leg rooting down, the right knee comes in, we give it a lovely big squeeze, open it out wide, catch the foot, sole of the foot into the upper left thigh, hands at the heart space. I beg your pardon, what am I doing? You can kickstand on the earth, on the shin, calf muscle or catch the foot and place the foot on the upper thigh. All right, enough waffling. Look off to the horizon. Focus. So good, nice work. And we are going to step the foot down, take the hands up, big breath in, and then step wide into a yogi squat. Bring your hands into heart center, hands behind you, immediately helping yourself to sit down on your buttocks. Let the left leg lengthen. Actually, we'll let the right leg lengthen because we just did that side, and bring the left heel in towards your upper thigh. So this is seated tree. You'll probably have more space to bring that foot higher up into the right upper thigh. And do your best to square your chest towards the right big toe, so it's your long leg away from you. Now, with these folds here, there's this tendency to want to grab and pull. You can take that variation, but maybe today you find more of this gesture of the heart guiding you towards the big toe. And another thing you can do as well, if you're on the center of your mat, you might even just find holding the outer edges of your mat, just gently pulling it apart, can help stabilize your upper body and give you a little more space just to find the fold. So both hands grip the outer edges of the mat and just gently pulls it apart and just gives you something there, a little bit of texture, so to speak, or a little bit of, sort of integrity. Now, I do talk to a lot of people in the class in terms of different levels, and you could stay here if this fold is feeling good, but if you feel like a bit of a rock star, you look at your left hand, you lift the left hand overhead and plant it behind you. You might just stay there because there's a lovely little release, but if not, you come up onto your left shin, lift your right hand up and overhead, and look back behind you. So that was just a little optional extra. Sitting your buttocks back down, and then leaning back with both hands behind you, switch it over. Lengthen your left leg out, bring your right heel in towards your upper left thigh, square yourself to your big toe, and or take your choices in your practice here. So I'm just going to gently hold the outer edges of the mat, gently pull it apart. And then if you did want to try your rock star, right hand up overhead, and it lands behind you. So the hand plants behind you and points fingers away from your buttocks. Press into the heel of the hand, come up onto your right shin, and then let the left arm reach overhead behind you. Maybe tilt the head back, look back if that's okay in your neck. It's not necessary if it's not. Hands behind you, lean back, and then let both legs slide out in front of you. And same thing again, you can reach up here, and maybe it feels appropriate for you just to reach for the outer edges of your mat. Maybe you can hold the feet. It's up to you, whatever works for you there. And stay for 5. For 4. And let's take some big breaths together. 3. And last 2. And final 1. Nice work. Reach the hands forward as you lift your chest, and then resist the temptation just to flop down. But you know what? If you feel like just rolling down, it's okay. Just try to do it with control. And then we're going to roll ourselves down. And we're going to take our knees in towards our chest, give ourselves a big squeeze, and then stack the knees over the hips, shins parallel to the earth, cactus the arms or T the arms, and lower your knees over to the right. Now, if your knees can't quite stack and they separate, it's okay. Find some spot where you've got a little bit of sensation, you're feeling it somewhere, and you're sort of curious about that, and letting it just happen. Sometimes you get told to roll your head to the left. I don't know, I feel like looking at the beautiful blue sky and the frangipani tree above me and wishing this would never end. And then come back through your center. Step the feet wide and drop the knees into center, and then just do a little windscreen wiper. Just a rebound in between there and move through the other side. So knees up, shins parallel to the earth, arms out like a T or a cactus. Lower them down to the left and find some sensation there that serves you. This side's always more difficult for me because I've got a microphone pack there and it just always lands right on that microphone pack. Anyway. Nice. Come back through your center. Bring your knees in. Give yourself a big, tender hug. So hold the shins. Give yourself a lovely big cuddle. Thank yourself. And then release it all out into our Shavasana. I'm going to take up extra room today. And I don't know, I'm going to have my eyes open. I'm just going to let myself look up at this wonderful sky full of swallows as they fly around, free as a bird. And notice how the clouds in the sky can be like our thoughts. They can be abundant and omnipresent, or perhaps they're clear, clarified and direct. Today it's a cloudless day and just a few wispy clouds like your thoughts are floating through. Those final few moments, let your teeth separate, let the lips separate, let the jaw feel soft, the tongue feel soft. The eyes are like beautiful pools of clear, fresh water. And start to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, roll your wrists and roll your ankles. Create the longest version of yourself by sweeping the arms overhead, point your toes and elongate your body. Roll onto your favorite hip in a fetal position where the encouragement is to bathe yourself in love and gratitude for your beautiful, incredible, fantastic body. And then swing your way up into your version of a comfortable seat. Might be on your shins, might be cross-legged, could be with your pillow that we used earlier. Hands at your heart space, chin to chest. Well done today. Thank you so much for practicing. Just remind yourself that you're awesome, you're incredible, and you're fantastic. Bring your thumbs to your third eye, chin to chest. Loka samasta sukhinu bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. Greet this beautiful version of yourself and the remainder of your day with the Hindi word, Namaste. Thanks very much. I'll catch you again real soon. Bye for now.